Hey, what's up guys? Hotfire MTG coming at you with the second part of this Game Awards After Party event. So if you watched my first video, you saw me play the Ashiok Nightmare Muse deck and just get absolutely wrecked. I went 0-4, I think, in that video. So we're gonna try the Elspeth deck. I honestly think, from what I've seen so far, the Elspeth deck seems to be much better. It's a simpler strategy. Basically, go wide, create a whole bunch of knights and soldiers, and try and buff them with various spells and things like the Sword of Ice and Fire and the Sigiled Sword of Valerin. But it's a simple strategy that's very effective, and honestly, I think the Ashiok deck is just underpowered compared to this deck. You've also got the Mox Pearl in this deck, the Black Lotus, and a Soul Ring, which is super cool. Also, Swords to Plowshares, which is a really awesome old vintage card. And again, in this one, you've also got some cards from Theros Beyond Death. You've got the new Elspeth Planeswalker, and she allows you to create more human soldier creature tokens as well. So this deck just seems really, really good, particularly when compared to the Ashiok deck, because again, I think the Ashiok deck is just underpowered. It's got some good things going. It's got some decent counter spells and some removal, ways to steal your opponent's cards and cast them, but it just seems underpowered against this Elspeth deck. So, it seems as though in this event that you always play the opposite deck as the one you're running. I don't think you can actually get the mirror match because I have not had that happen. I have not had that happen yet. So we've got 2 planes in hand, so I think I'm going to keep this. Only one creature that I can cast currently until turn 4 anyway, but I think I have to keep this opening hand. Knight of Grace is very, very good, particularly against the Ashiok deck because it has hexproof from black. So really the only thing your opponent can do is counter it or potentially use the control magic to steal it for themselves. So opponent comes out quick start with with a swamp and island, and then uses the Black Lotus to cast the Ashiok right away, which that is really, really good. Do I want to use the Swords to Plowshares right now? I don't think so. I'm just going to pass, see what I can come up with here. That is a fast start. That is a very fast start for my opponent, though. So my opponent now can return the Knight of Grace to my hand, or just keep creating more nightmare creature tokens. Whenever they block, each opponent exiles the top 2 cards of their library, which is rough. However, the Knight of Grace has first strike, so it will be very effective at defending against these nightmares, and it gets +1/+0 because my opponent controls a black permanent in Ashiok. So let's get the Castle Ardenvale out. And I think I want to do the Sword of Ice and Fire here, and equip it to. I actually can't equip it yet, but I could get it out. It would be really good on the Knight of Grace. I could just remove the Nightmare token that's in play and hit Ashiok for 3. Maybe I'll do that instead. Let's try that. So remove the Nightmare creature token. Opponent gains a couple of life off of that, and I'm going to swing it at Ashiok. I need to deal with Ashiok, basically. It is a problem. Opponent creates another Nightmare creature token, taking Ashiok up to 5. So now I need to really beware of counterspells because my opponent's leaving 4 mana up, and there are a couple of counterspells in that deck. So I definitely need to be aware of that. So I'm going to swing at Ashiok. Opponent can just block and keep Ashiok from taking any damage. I have to exile the top 2 cards in my library again. So I need to get, ideally I need to get another creature out here so that I can finish off Ashiok. So I think I'm going to get the... I think I get the Fabled Hero out. Acclaimed Contender has a little more power. I know I'm going to get countered here. Yep. I knew that was coming. Opponent has the no escape in hand. So we'll have to see if we can get another creature out next turn, because each turn my opponent can just keep creating the nightmares which can save Ashiok, basically. So I need to be able to get through to kill Ashiok, I think. And I really don't want Ashiok's ultimate to go off. -7, opponent can cast three cards that I own from exile. So let's get the Idyllic Grange out, put a 1/1 on the Knight of Grace, which is nice. Again, opponent could still have a counter spell that could hurt me. So let's swing at... I could actually have equipped the Sword of Ice and Fire now. I might want to save it at this point to put it on the flyer when I get Hero of the Winds out. So I think it's fair to say my opponent's going to block with something. Gonna have to exile another card. Oh, I lost the History of Benalia. That's rough. So kill the Nightmare. Go to second main, and again hoping I don't get countered again. Nope, no counter spell in hand. Okay, so that's very good to know. So next turn I could get the Sword of Ice and Fire on the Hero of the Winds and start swinging in the air, which is nice. Opponent doesn't cast any other spell, so again, could be sitting on another counter. He's got the Merfolk Trickster in hand. Get the Cryptic Caves out, and we're going to have to do the Sword of Ice and Fire on my main phase. Does he have a counterspell now? No, he's just got the Merfolk Trickster. I'm assuming he doesn't have a counterspell anyway, but he could cast the Merfolk Trickster anytime. So we're going to equip... Yeah, I have to equip it to the flyer, I think. So Hero of the Winds becomes a 3/6 flyer, and Hero of the Winds with Sword of Ice and Fire deals combat damage to a player, deals 2 damage to any target, and you draw a card. I think that's pretty good. I think I want to hit my opponent. No, I need to kill Ashiok though. I do damage to my opponent though. I can hit Ashiok for 2. I think I want to hit Ashiok for 3. The more the better right now, and I need to get that card out of the way. Opponent really should have tapped down. Should have played the Merfolk Trickster sooner to tap down one of my potential attackers. I think that was a slight misplay on my opponent's part, but I've been there. I've done that myself. So opponent now needs to decide whether he wants to. Does he want to could consider double blocking the Knight of Grace? Gonna triple block the Knight of... Nope, double block. So I think the Nightmare's still better than the Seeker's Squire, just because of its ability. It's just a token, but ooh. So here I come out saying that the Elspeth deck is overpowered compared to the Ashiok deck, but when you cast Ashiok turn 2 with a Black Lotus, oof, that is big. That is big swing. So I have now lost all my creatures, and my opponent is in very, very good shape. Very good shape. So I can equip the Sword of Ice and Fire to the Acclaimed Contender, and still have the shelter in hand to be able to save the Acclaimed Contender if necessary, because I may need to use that. So let's see what happens here. Opponent's gonna create more Nightmare creature tokens. So when you can get that out turn 2 and just start pumping out creatures, then this deck is not so underpowered against the Elspeth deck. So opponent chooses not to swing. We drew a Legion's Landing. Gonna have to get that out. Create a creature token with lifelink. Lifelink could help. We could re-equip the sword to the vampire and have a 3/3 lifelink, which against a bunch of 2/3s I think is probably what I want to do. Gaining some life would be really good. Yeah, I think that gaining some life would be ideal here, because I have a long way to go if I want to swing this game back into my favor. I need to keep drawing gas, because if I draw a bunch more lands, I'm gonna be in trouble. Opponent draws the Whisper Agent, which is pretty good, being a 3/2. Definitely better for my opponent than all the 2/3s. Just gonna keep creating. So now my opponent's basically 2 turns away from casting Ashiok's ultimate. So the question is my opponent gonna swing here? Casts the Alter Fate, gets a creature card back from his graveyard. Gonna scry 2 off the Omen Speaker. This is not looking good for me. And this deck's supposed to be better. But again, Ashiok turn 2, broken. That is broken. That was awesome, actually. That was kind of cool to see. So yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't think my opponent really wanted to attack yet. Probably next turn. Yeah, that's what I thought. Drew a Harmonious Archon, which is, it's very good, but now all my opponent's creatures, all his 2/3s, are going to become 3/3s. All non-Archon creatures have base power and toughness 3/3. But I create 2 1/1 creature tokens. So if I cast this, I'm not going to have 2 mana up to use the shelter, but I have to get this out. That's everything becomes 3/3s, but actually the vampire is still a 5/5 because it's got the sword equipped to it. So basically everything's a 3/3 except the vampire token and the Seeker Squire, because it had a +1/+1 on it. So that helps. My opponent probably can't swing this turn, so that helps a bit. Harmonious Archon and the vampire are very good blockers in this situation. So that -7 ability though, whew. He could cast my History of Benalia, On Sierra's Wings, Circle of Loyalty, all without paying their mana cost. Yep, and that is what my opponent's going to do. That's devastating. That is a devastating swing in my opponent's favor. So that's probably game over. Really good. This is a really good game though. A lot of fun. So goes with the Fabled Hero. I don't know if I would have picked that, but good. You could put the could put the On Sierra's Wings on the Fabled Hero, and it gets very good. I probably would have gone with History of Benalia, but that's not a bad choice. Whew. Now a 6/6 flying Vigilance lifelink, and there's the Cavalier of Night. So, oof, yeah, this is... I think this is game over for me. I think I'm going to have to concede. It's a really good game. Honestly, even though this deck is amazing, I couldn't deal with an Ashiok on turn 2. That's just ridiculous. So, Ashiok deck can beat the Elspeth deck if you get Ashiok down on turn 2 with the help of a Black Lotus. That's busted. So that was pretty cool. That was cool to see. At least I've seen that the Ashiok deck can be can go off really well. But I still think generally speaking, it's quite underpowered. This is not a very good start. I have no creatures I can cast until turn 6 at this point, unless I get a Black Lotus out. So I'm gonna take the free mulligan. This looks better, definitely better. I will keep this. The Idyllic Grange is gonna come out tapped likely, but that's fine. Hopefully not. Maybe we can pick up a couple more planes, but not likely. It's likely going to have to come in tapped, which kind of sucks. That's going to put me behind a little bit. Opponent plays the Eidolon of Philosophy. Well, there's another planes. That might help. Do I want to just put the Crusade out? Enters the battlefield and create a soldier creature token and attach the blade to it. You're just going to get the Crusade out for now. And swing in with the Dauntless Bodyguard as a 3/2. Opponent chooses not to block. So, I've got the Swords to Plowshares also, but the Eidolon is just not a threat at all. See if my opponent comes out with anything more threatening. I know this deck doesn't have a lot of power unless you get until you get maybe. It's got the Knight, the Black Knight, which is a problem. Is opponent gonna swing? Yeah. Attacks with the Eidolon of Philosophy. Got the Midnight Clock in play. Well, oh, I drew another planes. That was lucky. That was very, very lucky. Benelish Marshal. That's just a sweet combination. Having the Benelish Marshal out with the Crusade. Swing at my opponent for 4. So my opponent's taking 7 now, and this is what I mean when you can get a pretty quick start with this Elspeth deck. It's very overpowered compared to this, compared to the Ashiok deck. But like we saw in the last game, this deck can do some pretty ridiculous things. No Black Lotus. We have not seen a Black Lotus yet, though. So at least next turn, the Idyllic Grange can come in untapped. We could put a 1/1 counter on one of our creatures. Eldest Reborn. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So we're gonna sack the Dauntless Bodyguard, I think. Yeah. Oh, are you kidding me? That is not what I wanted to do. I did not want to use it. Just a misplay on my part. That is not at all what I wanted to do. I wanted to sack. Come on, I hate that. I hate that. So let's get the Ancestral Blade out, I guess. Create a soldier, sure. End turn. I hate that. That was my mistake. I should have paid closer attention to what I was doing, but I guess we'll get rid of the Grange now. But I clearly meant to sacrifice the Dauntless Bodyguard. I did not want to use the Dauntless Bodyguard's ability. Oh well, that was my fault. Can't blame the game for that. So that hurts. That hurts. still in decent shape at this point. Next turn, though, opponent's going to get to put a creature or planeswalker from a graveyard, but I think I'm the only one with any creatures in my graveyard. Massacre Girl, nice. Each other creature gets -1/-1 end of turn. Whenever a creature dies this turn. So nothing's going to die, though, so that's not too bad. I am going to, opponent will gate 4, but I'm going to use, let's pass 2 attackers, see if my opponent does anything else. No, so on my opponent's end step, we're going to use the Swords to Plowshares to get rid of that Massacre Girl. Drew the Shelter, which is pretty good. I need another land to cast the Harmonious Archon. So swing at my opponent for 3. Opponent decides to take that. That midnight clock again is slowly ticking up. Yeah, Benelish Marshal, of course. I need a land. The Harmonious Archon would be nice. Be very nice. Opponent's gonna attack with the Eidolon of Philosophy, take 2. And cast a Read the Bones. Scry 2, draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. Pretty good card. Could help. Puts both on the bottom though. Didn't find anything he likes. And opponent's still got 3 blue up, so if my opponent passes here, I need to be aware of counters. Counters could be a problem. Do I want to just get the Ardenvale Tactician out? I don't think I want to use the Tactician's ability at this point. Yeah, I'm just going to cast the Tactician. At least the Tactician will be a 3/4. There's the counterspell, yep. So, can't attack, nothing I can do here. Man, that mistake I made with the Dauntless Bodyguard is making a big difference at this point. That was rough. And yep, I am gonna lose to this deck again. Just a stupid mistake. Yeah, I'm gonna concede this. Terrible mistake on my part. Obviously did not mean to do that. Anyways, okay. 3rd time's the charm, hopefully. Let's I know this deck's very good. I know it's better than the Ashiok deck, so let's give it a go again. Crappy opening hands, kind of, but I think I'll keep it. Nothing I can cast. No creatures I could cast potentially until turn 3, but let's give it a shot. Opponent comes out, turn 1 Eidolon of Philosophy, and we drew another land, which is good. Not going to use the Swords to Plowshares. So hopefully I draw a 2-drop creature that I can play, or at least I can get the Ancestral Blade will create a creature for me, which is pretty good. So opponent's going to hit me for 1 here. The Orzhov Enforcer, Death Touch, is pretty good. Although God's Willing can help could help save me against that. Create a 2/2. And I could use the Swords to Plowshares to kill the Enforcer, but I don't know. That doesn't seem like a very good. Deal. Now I need to worry about counterspells, as usual. I could try drawing out the counterspell by using the Swords to Plowshares on the Orzhov Enforcer. And then if I swing in, I can use the God's Willing to save the soldier and kill the Enforcer anyway. I'm going to try that. See if my opponent's got counterspell. I'm anticipating... no. Okay. Interesting. So I'm going to... Could still have it. Could still have it. Just going to swing. There's... Okay, that's what my opponent had to cast. Gonna tap down. Okay, so we'll get the Crusade out now. Opponent uses the Merfolk Trickster to tap down the soldier. I was worried about a counter spell there. I thought for sure that was what was coming. Another land here would be nice. Yep, gets me a little closer to being able to cast the Harmonious Archon. So I think I want to swing here, hit my opponent for 3, get the Fabled Hero out. Yeah, can block very effectively against both my opponent's creatures, and I've still got the God's Willing in hand. Creatures of the creature type of your choice get -3/-3 until end of turn. I'm not sure the God's Willing will help me against that. So I have 2 soldiers. I'm going to try. I don't think it will, but I'm going to try it. Because it's still going to get -3. It becomes a 4/4, so that saves it. Yes. Yeah, and yeah, it's still got -3/-3. I didn't think it would save it, but I was able to save it by casting a spell on him and giving +1/+1. So not gonna block, obviously. Take 3. Whew. That was fortunate. That was fortunate that I was able to save the Fabled Hero. Good card, especially when you're playing against a tribal Knights and Soldiers deck. So I think I want to put the Ancestral Blade on the Fabled Hero, being a double strike. Absolutely. Swing at my opponent, 5/5 double strike. Yes, please. And then we will get the Ardenvale Tactician out, being a good blocker. Could have cast the Dizzying Swoop on his turn first, just to tap both his creatures down, but opponent comes in with a Black Lotus. Let's see. Ashiok in hand. Control Magic. Man, that card has wrecked me twice now. That might be the difference. Yeah, gonna put Mire's Grasp. Oh, that's rough. That is rough. Just steals my Fabled Hero. That's happened to me twice now. Twice I've lost a Fabled Hero to that card. How am I just having the worst flippin' luck on the face of the planet? Like, how is this happening? Twice this has happened to me, and in the other game, my opponent cast an Ashiok on turn 2. Like, I'm just having the worst luck. Oh, man. Okay, block the Fabled Hero with the Tactician, sure. I need to create a bunch of tokens to keep blocking that thing. Something. Still can't cast the Archon. Alright, let's get the Sword of Fire and Ice out. I can equip it to the Hero of the Winds, but it's still not going to help against the Fabled Hero. I can't kill it. Yeah, and opponent swings next turn with the double strike, 5/5. I have to block it. So I cannot kill the Fabled Hero. Rough. That's rough. Just terrible luck. I don't think there's nothing that can save me here. Harmonious Archon would be okay. It would, well, no, it would still turn into it would actually make it stronger, I think, because the Fabled Hero is base power toughness 2/2. The Archon would make it 3/3, and then it would get +1/+1 from the Ancestral Blade, and it would have the 1/1 on it from when I targeted it with a spell. I can exile an artifact or enchantment. Ooh, I can exile the control magic and get my Fabled Hero back, please. Oh, if my opponent has a counterspell in hand, that's just that'd be so good. That would suck, but it'd be good. It would be good. So exile, yes. Get my Fabled Hero back, yes. That was huge. That was huge. Okay, my luck has turned around. Maybe my luck has turned around. Oh, I should have equipped the Sword of Ice and Fire. I wasn't paying attention there. I was so high on getting my Fabled Hero back. Opponent can at least hit me for 3, though. He needs a way to deal with the Fabled Hero now. Let's see. Anything? Cast the Order of Midnight. Can't block, though. So now it's just 1 card in hand. So, alright. Opponent concedes. Wow. Whew, that was a roller coaster. I thought for sure I was going to lose that one. Alright, I want to play one more. Finally, I think I've played like 8 matches. I finally just earned my first win in this event. I want to play one more. I was going to just play 3 for this game, for this video, but I just had some terrible luck. Good swing back in my favor there, though, on that last game. Oh, wow. Definitely a roller coaster. So let's keep this. Got a Bodyguard in hand, a Legion's Landing, and a Leonin Sky Hunter I can cast in the first couple turns. I have not seen a Black Lotus or a Mox yet. Have you guys noticed that? I have not seen a Black Lotus or a Mox yet in any of these 3 games, nor have I seen a History of Benalia that I could cast. Like, I've just had some terrible luck. So opponent gets a Fabled Passage and a Mox Sapphire out, which is nice. Opponents are having better luck than I am. Let's get the Bodyguard out for now. A little better, I think, to start with than the Legion's Landing. Legion's Landing just gets me a 1/1 lifelink, though, which is nice. We'll do that next turn. Actually, next turn I'll probably do the Leonin Sky Hunter, being a 2/2 flyer. Opponent's going to use the Fabled Passage to dig out an island. Could still have something to play with the... uses the Ancestral Recall. Nice. Mox Sapphire and an Ancestral Recall off the start. Nice. That's sweet. That is sweet. So we'll see. My opponent's got a lot of cards in hand. Access to 3 mana, so he could do a lot here potentially. Just gonna cast the Direfleet Hoarder. When it dies, create a treasure. So I draw another Plains, get the Leonin Sky Hunter out. Do I want to swing with the Bodyguard? I think I do. Yeah, trade off with that. I don't know if that's worth it. Probably not a good trade for me. But opponent's got no creatures now, and I'm still sitting at 1 flyer. So see what happens. Keep the pressure on, right? Bodyguard's really good though. It probably wasn't a good trade for me. Being able to save one of my better creatures later, like the Sky Hunter. Nightveil Sprite. Opponent casts the Nightveil Sprite. Does not do much against the Leonin Sky Hunter though. So let's see. Opponent could have some removal. Yep, just like that. Doomblade. So would have been nice to have the Dauntless Bodyguard in play for that. So get another plains out. All I can do now, right now, is play the Legion's Landing. So next turn, Inspiring Captain. The Realm Cloak Giant, I can get to 5 in the next 2 turns, which is pretty sweet. Opponent's going to Surveil off the Night Veil Sprite. So let's see what else my opponent can come in with here. Really good start for my opponent, that Ancestral Recall. Being able to draw 3 cards before his second turn was sweet. And there's the Eldest Reborn. I lose my Lifelinker. Ardenvale. Castle Ardenvale, yeah, I might as well cast that and get the Inspiring Captain out. So, discard, yeah, we might as well discard a Plains, because I can still cast the Realm Cloak Giant. The cast off, anyway, I can do that next turn. Yep, which I think I want to do now, because now my opponent controls my Inspiring Captain. So, still has Summoning Sickness, though, so... yeah, destroying all the non-giants next turn will be good, but I will still also have no creatures. I won't be able to cast the giant until I draw 2 more lands. And my opponent's drawn a lot of cards. He's drawn 5 extra cards, which is really good. Draws 2 more here. Already drew 2 off the Ancestral Recall. Crazy. Probably can't. Well, he's got the treasures. He's got 2 mana in play, and he'll be able to cast a creature or planeswalker. He's only got Direfleet Hoarder there. Sky Hunter maybe gets back. Maybe I want to wait, get some extra value for the Realm Cloak Giant, because he's going to get a creature from a graveyard. Let's just get, that's sorcery speed. I'm gonna wait, get a little extra value. I'll take a couple damage here, but I think that's okay, because opponent's gonna get another creature out, gets the Sky Hunter out of my graveyard. So at least the sword is out now, so I can equip it for 2 later, and I can use the cast off. Unless my opponent can make me discard a card here, that would be pretty crappy. Gets to Surveil off the Night Veil Sprite. None of these have protection from any color. And we drew the Fabled Hero, which is nice. That'll be a nice follow-up play to the cast off. My opponent could have a counterspell in hand. Now I'm worried about that. Now I'm quite worried about that. I know there's counters in there. I think I have to try it. If my opponent counters, that's it. I think it's game over for me. I think it's game over. I think there's only 2 counterspells, but my opponent's just drawn a ton of cards. Looks like it works though. Whew! I thought for sure. I was like, my opponent's drawn a lot of cards. Does he have the counter? Nope, had a Merfolk Trickster. Just basically just a 2/2 now. Nothing else. And gets the Omen Speaker out, gets to Scry too. So, this is looking okay. It's looking okay. Because I can get the Fabled Hero out and equip the sword to it right off the start. Opponent could have more removal in hand. He's got 4 black mana up. I want to wait, maybe save it. Maybe not equip the sword. Keep the shelter out in case keep the shelter available in case my opponent does have some removal. That might be the right play. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. See if my opponent has any removal. Because I need to save that Fabled Hero if my opponent's got like a Disfigure in hand. He's got something. There's the hero's downfall. So that was the right play from black. So, saved the fabled hero, give it +1/+1 also. So now it's a 3/3 double strike, and I drew the Cavalier of Dawn off the shelter, which is sweet because I can actually cast that next turn. So that's beauty. My opponent could have another removal spell though. But I drew another creature that I can cast, so it's not as urgent that I keep my one creature alive. So I think I'm gonna hold off on the Cavalier. Now I'm again concerned about counter spells. I think I'm gonna equip the sword to the fabled hero and just start swinging. Oh, 2 damage to any target, right? So we'll hit the trickster. Devastating. That is devastating. And I can do another 2 damage to my opponent. Yep, not going to use the revoke existence. Nothing worth taking out with that at this point. Opponent's going to swing for 1. Okay. Massacre Girl. Doesn't really help though. Doesn't really help. So, is there anything else I can do here before swinging? No. So just swing with the fabled hero. He can block with the Massacre Girl. The fabled hero only has protection from red and blue off the Sword of Ice and Fire, so I think now I want to cast now I definitely want to cast the Realm Cloak Giant. My opponent's going to have to concede here. I don't think there's much else he can do at this point. Yeah, there we go. So, had a couple games there where I had some really bad luck, those first couple games, but this Elspeth deck is definitely better than the Ashiok deck. Though Ashiok deck, if you can use a Black Lotus to cast Ashiok on turn 2, that's busted. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna end this video here. We got to 2 wins. I just need 1 more. I don't want this video to be too long though, so because I need to get it uploaded, get it to you guys as soon as possible. So really appreciate the support. Hotfire MTG, please hit like, please hit subscribe. It really helps us out. We really appreciate it, guys. Later.